Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast, aka CTP, in association with thelibertybeacon.com. And I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. If you've been with me for any period of time, and of course, I always understand and recognize there will be people who have been with the show from the very start. And of course, as we grow, there will be new people that come along and may not have delved into the back catalog of shows yet. So if you've been with me for a while, you know. If not, this will be news to you. I have in the past done a few holiday-related shows, but I don't do them like most people do them, where they do them ahead of the holiday or the weekend of the holiday. And I'm doing this again with the Mother's Day retrospective. Like in the past, I did two thelibertybeacon.com pieces and shows regarding 4th of July ex post facto, remembering our freedoms beyond the 4th of July. So while others were focusing on the United States independence just on the 4th of July, or slightly before or slightly after, depending on when their article or their show dropped, I held my powder dry, so to speak. No Revolutionary War pun intended there, but I guess it fits. It accidentally came out that way. Held my powder dry, let everybody else speak on it ahead. Then I followed up after with things likely you didn't hear anywhere else. Same thing with what I did with Memorial Day weekend. I wanted to wait and again make the point, honoring the fallen, not just on Memorial Day, but days after, months after, through the whole year, not just the one day. And I'm doing that again with Mother's Day retrospective here. There were countless people, countless shows, countless articles to remind you before Mother's Day came to, hey, remember to get your mom a card. Remember to get your mom a gift. Remember to make sure you called your mother on Mother's Day, especially if you're not in the same state. And of course, I am grateful for all those others who did that. Thank you. And indeed, I hope you paid attention to them. I hope you got your mother a gift, if she's still with us. If not, that if you're in the same state, if you had the chance, like me, to visit your mom's gravesite. And that's a large part of what today's show is about. Now, I'm not here to drag you down. My point in mentioning my mother, our mother, me and my sister, our mother passed a few years ago after years of dealing with dementia. So, of course, we didn't bother to celebrate Mother's Day. She was out of it. She really had no clue what was going on most days. So it would have made never mind, no sense. We honored her, of course, by being there for her in her years of needs until she passed. My point here to you about that is, and you've probably heard it, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Well, that's not quite the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm referring to is, no doubt, we don't know when our time is up. You don't know when anyone's time will be up. Anything can happen any day, something unforeseen. We won't always know when someone's time is drawing near the end to make sure we are there then with them and for them. We have to treat every day as if it could be the last day we see them. And I know it is difficult. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to do a Marco Rubio and take a drink of water here. Fresh, purified water. That's all. At any rate, yes, still doing that thing and poking fun at myself in the meantime about doing that thing. At any rate, you don't know when the end will come for somebody. Car accidents happen. Heart attacks can happen out of the blue, even within someone who wouldn't think has a family history or issue or any foreshadowing signs that it could happen. And I get it. The hustle and bustle of daily life gets in the way. I understand that. I want to make clear to you, I understand we don't always have time when we're caught up in the day-to-day hectic nature of life, especially these days, as we've talked in the past about Bidenomics, inflation running amok, having trouble coming up with the cash if you have a family of your own to be able to afford the increased food prices to put food on your table and keep that roof over yours, your spouses if you have one, your own children if you have them, those sorts of things. I get it. Let's be clear up front about that. So I know I myself, of course, indeed, get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, even though I'm on disability. So I am at home a lot. I have more time on my hands than I know 99.9% likely of you in this audience have available to be able to spend in the pursuits of ensuring, yes, I can and will and must set aside time this day, this week, and whatever other day next week or several times this week to be with my sister is left. My dad is gone too, so this is about dads also, but obviously Mother's Day just passed. So this is about family, parents in general, and let's include in that grandparents. We especially don't know how much longer we're going to have with grandparents. So we must take time, no matter how hectic our lives are, wherever we can fit it in, to show our appreciation for our elders, those who helped raise us, our parents, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, even our aunts and uncles, our cousins, our nieces and nephews, we need to try to make time to fit them in, spend time with them, let them know how much we appreciate them while they are all still here, because we don't know when that will come to an end. Now, in the LibertyBeacon.com piece, I go right on to say next. First, I recognize this is way too long. It's a long piece on the LibertyBeacon.com, but there's a lot going on in there. Second paragraph starts off next. Yes, I realize that Mother's Day was Sunday, May the 12th. I am actually putting this together on Mother's Day, May the 12th, for later publication Saturday, May the 25th. I wanted to be in the day and of the emotion of Mother's Day, knowing my mother is not here, and why this is a Mother's Day retrospective to celebrate beyond that one designated day. And I go on to joke. I am, yes, grown male adult, age 62, that still very much misses his mama. Indeed. And again, this is part of the reason why I wanted to do this right on Mother's Day, so that this would be very raw. I am pausing here. I am indeed fighting back the tears. I do. Rest in peace, Ma. I greatly miss you. But I go on to say, if I can fight back the tears still in the article, go ahead and call me a mama's boy if you like. Zero issue if you do. Yes, I love my mother and my father. I miss them dearly. And will continue to. I miss my grandparents dearly, even though I lost most of them more than a decade ago. And part of this, though, I then go into past the sentiment and the concern that we indeed take the time out away from that one designated day to remind them, all the people we love, that we love them and appreciate them and like they're around, want them to be around. We want to be around them, but indeed, sometimes life gets in the way. We are sorry we are not as in touch as often as we'd like to be. These sentiments are important to have, but also to hearken back to something I wrote years ago, actually like a month after my mother had passed years ago, for BeforeItsNews.com. And that piece, most of which is cut and pasted and updated in the LibertyBeacon.com piece. Again, this all being titled Mother's Day Retrospective, is about the destruction of traditional family structure. All this episode, I've been talking about appreciation of traditional family. So now I'm going to go into the less attempt to tear down Western culture, to destroy the traditional family structure, as if there is no value or merit in a two-parent home if and where possible. Again, I get it. Things happen. People don't always necessarily are able to stay together, but keeping both your parents in your life in some way, shape, or form. They may not been the best parent. They are still your parent. You are here because of them. And the left just wants to make, remember the term, birthing person. They want to erase the term mother and call a female, and yes, only a female, an actual real female can give birth to another human being. They want to call them a birthing person. And this goes back to Hillary Clinton, and it takes a village. What that's really about is extra biblical. It takes a village is more than biblical in its original sense. Indeed, it takes friends, it takes neighbors to maybe babysit a child, but they mean they want everyone to be wards of the state. I'm sorry, I had to unplug the phone because I didn't unplug the phone before starting the record. I hope whomever was leaving a message, you didn't hear it. At any rate, the It Takes a Village farce. They turned it into, indeed, family and friends and neighbors, biblical concept to you're all wards of the state. That's not what it's about. And that's what birthing person was about. Once someone pops out a child, that child then becomes a ward of the state and a child of the nation or of the world, more so, belongs to anyone and everyone but the parents. You see it. Erosion of parental rights. They are trying to eliminate parents having any say, and now the state having them all be Hitler Youth. And the state makes the decision for and over your child, not you as a parent. So to me, this is why Mother's Day retrospective, not just honoring our mothers, my mother who was passed, but to talk about the future and preserving Mother's Day as Mother's Day, not Birthing Persons Day, protecting our freedoms, including our parental rights. There is a reason why in U.S. law, a child under the age of 18 does not have a full set of rights. They don't have the mental capacity to make a lot of decisions yet. But the left want to break down the walls. They're still not going to be allowed to legally smoke. They're still not going to be allowed to legally drink or vote until age 18. But go get an abortion behind the parent's back? Sure. Have a sex change? A young girl who's currently confused, having her breasts cut off without her parents' knowledge, or going to get an abortion without her parents' knowledge? They're all for that. Somehow, these kids, under leftist pressure, can make these decisions, and it's shown over and over. A lot of them are not ready to make these decisions. There is story after story of a young girl who'd been pressured into having her breasts lopped off, then later saying, I wasn't trans. I'm not trans. I was pressured. I was confused. I allowed them to try to tell me I was someone I was not, and that if I did these things, it would make my life better. I would feel better. And years later, after all of that, irreversible things have happened, it's not any better. It's worse. And then it's too late. And the same with boys pressured into this, oh, I'm really a girl, and going on hormones after several years, recognizing, oh, wait a minute, that was a mistake. And now it's somewhat a problem. They could have been made sterile. then they're no longer able to have children of their own. So I apologize if some of you think this is a little bit, touchy, very icky, not certainly where you thought this show was going to go, but I hope you understand how this all relates. The left is destroying the concept of motherhood and fatherhood entirely and trying to make all children wards of the state, pressuring them into things that they can't reverse later, that when we don't trust them with other decisions till they're 18, it is sensible to not allow them to make these decisions until they're 18. At any rate, again, laughing at myself, throwing that in. So, to recap the top of the show, remembering and honoring your parents before they're gone. As I've said, mine are gone. My parents are gone. All of my grandparents are gone. All that's left with and for me now. Oh, yeah, sure. I have one aunt left. Most of the aunts and uncles are all gone. I have cousins, of course, and nieces and nephews and things like that, but we don't have the family gatherings like we used to when the grandparents, the parents were alive. They used to do those things, but the modern left society, all that's been torn down, and we don't have that really anymore unless we think to bring those traditions back. So appreciate them while they are here. Remember and honor them beyond just the calendar day of recognition for them. With that, I'm going to end it. Again, I will say, please go to thelibertybeacon.com. Yes, that's a fairly long piece. I go into a lot more than I'm going to cover here. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is something to do with the show, completely unrelated to the topic or subject matter. If you are indeed a regular of the show, or hey, maybe this is the first episode you happen to tune in on. Now, my show is housed, the servers hold it at Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has added a new feature called fan mail. So now, going forward, the show notes for my show should at the very beginning have a link saying, send us a text message. So you can reach out rather than going to my website and hitting the contact button. You can literally, right from the show notes, click, and as long as you're on your phone or a PC that has an SMS text app associated with texting on your other device other than smartphone, send a quick message, send a comment, send a suggestion. Let me know whatever you want to let me know. So thank you to Buzzsprout for adding that feature. That is now there for anyone who wishes to avail themselves of it. And please, I want to hear from you. Please do reach out and contact me with whatever your thoughts. So to wrap it up, I sent Buzzsprout back an email, though, because I co-host on Savaged Unfiltered, and over there I'm known as Jokester Joe. I can never pass on a lame pun. So they said, hey, announcing the new fan mail feature. Do you see where I'm going with that? Get fan, right? So I responded back with, Why would I want mail from a wind-blowing device? Fan. Get it? Ba-dum-bum, right? Lame pun, yes. It's like, well, can I limit it to just oscillating fans? I mean, I want people who are thinkers that can go back and forth on the pros and cons of every issue. And I said, but what about the people in the very hot climates? Maybe we should have an AC mail feature. So they got a kick out of that, and I'm glad they did. They they received it in the lame pun feedback I was sending back their way. It was intended to be joking around. And indeed, Buzzsprout sent back, hey, you know what? We are in Florida. I guess we do need an AC mail feature. So I just was a serious episode. I wanted to end on a bit of a lighter note, even though obviously, as with all of my humor, very lame puns. Thank you all. Take care and God bless.
Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff. No fancy high production intro or inserts, at least yet, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast and share episodes. We need your help to grow the show.